Good afternoon. This is Courtney Neubauer with Division of Nutrition Support. Our presentation today is going to be on the Medicaid demonstration project for school year 22-23. This is really exciting. I know I'm very excited about this project for us. I feel like this has been a long time coming, where we hoped to have access to being able to use this Medicaid data. So I hope all of you are just as excited about it. And we are expecting, with the start of the school year being July 1, that this is going to be available, shortly after the beginning of the school year, more likely closer to the end of July, beginning of August, but it will be available for school year 22-23. So our agenda today, we're going to go over just a quick background of direct certification, little history of the Medicaid demonstration project, our plan, so what we plan to do for Louisiana's matching, which will be utilizing eScholar, a few other considerations regarding this Medicaid demonstration project. I'm going to briefly mention CEP and Medicaid matching, and then for verification. So verification will be coming up before we know it. So knowing where and how to kind of keep track of these Medicaid matches for reporting on the 742 are going to be very important. So just a little background. We know that direct certification is a mandated process by USDA, and we are required to certify children who are eligible for free meals without completing an application. So the DC process uses other programs like SNAP, TANF, and FDPIR, as well as other categorically eligible groups like foster, migrant, homeless, runaway, and Head Start to qualify children for free meals in the child nutrition programs. Beginning in school year 2016-2017, USDA began conducting demonstration projects to allow states to use Medicaid data to evaluate direct certification in both the lunch and breakfast programs. These demonstrations were authorized by Congress, and they are in the pilot authority in Section 18C of the National School Lunch Act. State agencies were invited to apply to participate in these demonstration projects. And at the time in 16-17 and the few years after that, we in Louisiana were not in a place where we were ready to jump into this due to our matching processes needing to go through some work before we got there. A few years ago, Judy and I randomly called somebody in USDA when we felt like we were in a better place and asked about being in the demonstration project. And what we were told at the time was that it would have to be authorized by Congress. And right now there was not any plans for there to be any more authorization related to Medicaid. So fast forward to COVID-19, one of the wonderful silver linings that have come out of the 2 years of, I'm not going to curse. So of the last 2 years, which have been very terrible, has been the authorization of additional Medicaid demonstration projects that have been made available. So as soon as we found out about the option to apply for the Medicaid demonstration project, we eagerly submitted our application, and we did receive approval on December 14th. Louisiana was one of the 8 states selected to participate in the expansion to use that Medicaid data to directly certify students for free and reduced price meals beginning in school year 22-23. Adding Medicaid to the list of benefits will hopefully increase the number of kids who are eligible for both free and reduced price meals. So this is hopefully a win-win for our students, our families, and also our school officials. So as we transition off of everybody being free related to COVID, hopefully this will increase the children who are eligible for free and reduced price meals in school year 22-23 and alleviate some of the need for applications from those families. So under the Medicaid demonstration projects, there's a little bit of a difference with Medicaid compared to the other programs we use. So we know that with SNAP and TANF and FDPIR, as well as with the categorically eligible groups, that children are qualified for free meals. Well, with Medicaid, there is an income level. So there is now both two separate qualifying groups. We'll have groups of kids that qualify for free meals, but then there will also be a separate group of kids who receive Medicaid who will qualify for reduced price meals. So under this demonstration project, we at the state agency will continue to match the enrollment data, and now we will match that to Medicaid eligibility data to qualify children for free meals. We're going to use the Medicaid data provided to us by LDH. Just as with the other direct certification programs, children who live in a home of a child who received Medicaid and whose family income before expenses and deductions does not exceed the thresholds will qualify for either free or reduced price meals. And for the child nutrition programs, 130% of the federal poverty level qualifies a family for free school meals, and then 185% of the federal poverty level qualifies families for reduced price meals. So what we plan to do in Louisiana is going to be the same as we do for SNAP and TANF. So I have linked the DirectMatch training that eScholar conducted for an overview of the DirectMatch system. We will utilize the same DirectMatch system for Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced. What will happen is we are going to get a single file from LDH, and from there, the file will be split based on the income eligibility categories into two separate files. And those will be the children who qualify based on that 130% of the federal poverty threshold and qualify for free. And then the remaining will be the Medicaid reduced. And so those will be two separate files that will be loaded into eScholar. From there, the matches will be done as two separate matches. And then once that process is done, there will be two separate files for download, one for Medicaid free and one for Medicaid reduced. The files are going to be the same DM index and 3.0 files that we currently use. The file format is anticipated to be available in August of 2022, which is right around the corner. We do anticipate the file formats will be similar to SNAP and TANF. We have also been in contact with the food service software vendors to ensure that there's a smooth transition and that they will be able to accept these two files into the food service software for school year 22-23. The positive thing about coming on this demonstration project now is that since 2016, 2017, these food service software companies have already had to develop a process for these other states that have been in the demonstration project. So they are able and willing to accept different files into their software for food service purposes. So our system, for just a kind of brief rundown of the DirectMatch system, when you log in, you'll have the landing page. The direct match page will be the default page for all users. We'll continue to run a state batch as we do for the SNAP and TANF. You'll then be able to see match type as a Medicaid free or Medicaid reduced based on those different programs, just as you do see SNAP and TANF now. So there will be really no different to your what you'll see, other than there'll be now additional 2 different near matches that will need to be conducted for both the free and the reduced. You'll still have the same ability to expand the menu using the little arrow at the top, so that you can expand and navigate through these different batches. The home button is always the first option. All navigation options are determined by the role. And so you can access the match options and the student search from this page. And like I said, your page is going to look exactly the same, except for you're going to start seeing, in addition to SNAP and TANF, that you're going to see Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced. And so the timelines are going to be very similar. And it's just really going to be 2 additional files for you to use to directly certify kids, but processes will be exactly the same. You also have the ability to access the person match from the navigation bar. You can still access person ID, upload files, individual match, and manual authorization. And the free and reduced Medicaid will be available in match types as well here. In the program, in the person ID, you can match against the program data, and so you'll be able to select on the drop down for Medicaid free, Medicaid reduced, and you'd be able to click match and check there. And then you would be able to download the file the same way that you are now. Manual authorization will be available as well. So you can add a direct certification flag to a particular child. You would just enter that the secure ID and click match. For Medicaid, this should only be used for DC extension of Medicaid. So families who maybe one child was on Medicaid, but the other children may have not been matched and you did not pick them up through address matching, you'd be able to use that here. You should not use this to manually match kids whose families included a case ID on their application. So if you're pulling information off of the application to identify a child as Medicaid, you would not want to manually authorize that child here. If you do need to manually authorize a child, you would edit on this page with the other match types that are being assigned. From there, you would add a new program. You could select Medicaid free or Medicaid reduced. And then for your reasoning, you'd want to put here that it's a sibling of whoever the child was that was identified as Medicaid free or reduced. So just to help with auditing purposes for your match reason, if you're going to manually match a child, you should always indicate why you did that. And so linking it to the child that was identified as Medicaid free or Medicaid reduced will help with that audit process. So once that's done, it would display here, and all other programs will also be indicated there as well. So reduced price children, this is something new that's going to be coming with Medicaid, is that we're actually going to be directly certifying kids for reduced, which brings in another layer of complexity to things. So it's a child that identifies through direct certification for reduced, there's always the chance that this child should have been eligible for free meals due to household income level that may be different when it's reported on an application. So if a child that is directly certified for reduced through Medicaid, they require that you notify those households of the income level that was used to qualify them for reduced, and also the limits for free meals so that they can complete an application and potentially, based on income, qualify for free. As I mentioned on one of the previous slides, under the Medicaid demonstration project, children are not considered categorically eligible, so they are directly certified. And so that can only happen through an automated matching service or, like what we do with eScholar when we're comparing against those eligibility records. So if a household writes their Medicaid case number on an application or sends you proof of their Medicaid, that would not count to qualify for the directly certified through Medicaid. So they cannot send you copies of their Medicaid card or include their Medicaid ID on the application, and then you count those as directly certified. So it is possible that you're going to have kids who qualified for free or reduced price meals based on an application or direct certification with another program. And so we don't want those children to be negatively impacted by matching to Medicaid. So what that means is if a child was SNAP eligible, and so they're free based on SNAP, and then they're also on Medicaid, but maybe they're Medicaid reduced, we would not want that child to be negatively impacted. So we would not want that child to be changed from free to reduced based on that data. So that's where the hierarchy becomes really important, where we always consider the SNAP as the main source of direct certification. And from there, that we continue to ensure that if the child qualifies for free, that the match against Medicaid reduced doesn't override that free status. So we never want to negatively impact that child by moving them to a reduced price status when they already qualified for free. So if you determine that a child is directly certified reduced through Medicaid, and they're determined to be directly certified through one of the other means, or they're identified as homeless or runaway or enrolled in a Head Start program, or a foster child, that you make sure that that free determination supersedes the Medicaid reduced price status. We have been insured by the large food service softwares that this process, this hierarchy is already built into their programs, and so this is taken into account in their food service software. So we do anticipate that with the addition of direct certification through Medicaid, that we're going to see an increase in eligibility for community eligibility provision. So this is a really great thing. So I know we're moving into school year 22-23, and you're currently submitting all of your data for CEP elections and population data due by June 30th, and then elections by September 30th. And some districts are having to make some pretty hard decisions on whether or not to elect CEP or not, based on the last 2 years being free through seamless summer or summer feeding. And so they're making decisions with kind of a lower ISP, but choosing to elect CEP but just for the ease of transition with these families. And in doing that, I do anticipate that decision, when you move into next April, that the numbers are going to be a good bit better, and you should be able to hopefully reestablish at a higher percentage, or even some districts can elect CEP for school year 23-24. 3/24 based on using the Medicaid data. So Medicaid, only the children who are directly certified for free meals are going to impact the ISP. So direct certification for reduced price meals will not be counted in the ISP because the identified student percentage is only the count of those children who are certified for free meals without an application. So although we may be picking up some additional direct certification children for reduced, those are not going to contribute at all to the identified student percentage for electing CEP. Verification. So I know for many of you, this is like almost a dirty word when we talk about verification because the process is sometimes can be a little cumbersome. But you will need to report the number of directly certified students with Medicaid for free meals with your other direct certification. So on the verification summary report, you can kind of think in your head as to what it looks like. So section 3-2 is where you put those kids that qualify for free from SNAP. And then right under that is 3-3. And that's where we usually count the children who are directly certified through some other means. And so this number is usually really tiny. And so we use that as kind of a check when we're looking at these forms. So that box, that one that is usually pretty tiny, is where we're going to report the students who are certified directly certified with Medicaid for free meals. You're not going to count those reduced price kids in any section in section 3. In section 4, which is the section right below that, you are including the students that are certified for free and reduced through an application. So this is not going to count any of the students who were directly certified with any program, which includes Medicaid, for either free or reduced. Now that current form, the form we use, the FNS 742, does not have a place to collect the counts of students that were directly certified for reduced price meals. So this is a little bit of a problem. So we've now counted all of the free kids through Medicaid. We've counted all the applications for both free and reduced, but yet we don't have anywhere to report those reduced price Medicaid. So it would be very helpful if you can provide an aggregate total for the Medicaid free and the Medicaid reduced, if possible, in the comment box in the bottom. So we are going to hopefully be able to use that information for reporting to USDA. So if we can have that information, that would be really, really helpful. That is pretty much all I have for today. My goal was to keep it short and sweet, under about 30 minutes, which I think I have successfully done. There's really not a lot of change. The processes are exactly like they have been for all of our other matching. So when we transitioned to eScholar years ago, that when we moved to that automatic matching, it put us in a better position to opt into this when the time came. So this is really exciting. I think for most of you, you will see that the processes are just not any different, and it's really just going to increase the number of kids who are matched for either free or reduced price meals. If you have any questions, you can email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov, or you can call 342-9661. I'm going to look back through the chat box to see if I can answer any of the questions. The Okay, the first question is about whether or not there needs to be a specific code classification for Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced. The files that you receive from eScholar, as well as loaded into your food service software, are going to be coded specifically for Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced. So you would want to have those included in for auditing purposes as well. I have a request from Dr. Mann. If any of you on here have a coffee bar in your high school, if you would please email Dr. Mann at nmann, N-M-A-N-N, at ebrschools.org. Question is, can a district determine the number of free versus reduced Medicaid students they have? And the answer is yes. So since the files are going to be completely separate, you will be able to determine exactly who is matched for free versus reduced for Medicaid. So that should be a fairly easy determination. Since you're matching, and you're going to be able to pull a file just as you do with SNAP with a total count on there. So yes, all SFAs will be matching against Medicaid. So we did have the option when we submitted our application to select particular districts that we wanted to test this out in, or if we wanted to do it statewide. And so for us, since everybody uses the same system, and we had kind of gotten to a point where we had gotten all of our school systems, privates and publics and charters all using the eScholar system, that it made sense to introduce this across the board to be available for all SFAs. So yes, all SFAs in Louisiana will be matching against Medicaid beginning in school year 22-23. The PowerPoint and the recording will be posted on Louisiana Fit Kids underneath the training section and the slides. So you'll have that available to that once we finish here. We'll have that sent over, and it should be available in the next day or so. We also will be repeating this on Thursday. So if you have anybody that you know is not attending or maybe came in late, please have them join on Thursday, but also it will be recorded. There is a question, which I was wondering if this question was going to come up. Can they determine eligibility for Medicaid now to possibly increase CEP elections going into school year 22-23? And the answer is no. So the data that needs to be utilized for elections for CEP for school year 22-23 is the data from school year 21-22, which ended effective, technically it's June 30th is the deadline. So that needs to be, it needs to be that data. So you would not be able to use Medicaid data to establish CEP for school year 22-23, but you would be able to use Medicaid data for establishment of CEP for school year 23-24. So I know that doesn't help a lot of you right now as you're coming to the end of this, but it'll be helpful in the long run. The question is, if a school or district is CEP, do you still have to reach out to the Medicaid reduced family to see if they qualify for free via an application? So if it's CEP, you're not collecting applications at all. And so you're able to use just that direct certification information you're just using your direct certification for CEP establishment. So you would not need to reach out and have them submit an application if you're at a CEP school. Any other questions? There's a question about, will there be some form letters? So yes, the goal is that we will help with the templates, just as we do with all of our other letters that we have available on our website, all of our prototypes. That will also have one that includes language to help you through sending these types of letters to the household when they qualify for Medicaid, and they may also be eligible for free. So we will have that available. A question about when we can expect the new prototype letters. So they are currently being drafted or updated as we speak. I don't expect there to be any changes to any of the other forms that are available, other than changing years. So we don't expect any major updates to the form. So we're just kind of updating the year. So you feel free to use the ones that are already posted and change the years yourself. But we are working through that right now and hope to have them available in the next week or so. USDA has not released any new application form going into school year 22-23. So we'll be doing the same for that, just updating the application to reflect the new school year. But if you're worried about getting those printed timely, you feel free to make that change yourself and use the previous prototype. Any other questions? All right, if y'all come up with any questions, feel free to email or call. I hope everybody had a great time at conference last week. I know most of you were probably there. Like I said, this is a really exciting project. I've been super excited about it since December. So I'm hoping that we'll see a really great increase in CEP and households that qualify for free or reduced, and that this will be a smooth transition into the next school year. Thank you all for joining today. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out. And if you'd like to re-listen to this on Thursday, you can come hear me again. And then we will also post the recording and the slides on Louisiana Fit Kids.